Hi, welcome to Damn Fools. I'm Mike, and this is the Beard of Empathy. This is a show where we talk about deconstruction and mental health. Today, I'm joined by GretchenZ, often notorious in the chats around the live streams in the debate space, and proprietor of the Async Network, which is a great channel. Welcome, and thanks for joining me, Gretchen.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Of course, on this show, we talk about deconstruction and mental health. Before we can get to deconstruction, we have to get the construction out of the way. So, why don't you give us a little bit on your religious background?
Um, well, my parents, though my mom was raised Irish Catholic, she went full Pentecostal born again right around the time that she married my dad, who has a huge Salt Lake City Mormon family. And my parents decided to raise us kids as half and half so we could choose when we got older. And then they got divorced when I was 9. That's when they started fighting over us. So, as kids, you want to just make everything, you know, stop fighting. So we just sort of swallowed both religions. And I never really even thought about it. I just accepted it all just to keep the peace. And it worked for several years.
I imagine that was really tough trying to coincide both Catholicism and Church of Latter Day Saints.
I mean, it wasn't for us. I mean, at least not for me. Just, when you're a kid and people tell you, you just okay, great. And kids are very malleable, and you can just take stuff on and compartmentalize it and all right, cool. Let's keep going, keep moving forward. And then I went in the army when I was 18, got married at 19 to a Catholic and started having kids right away. And his Catholic family started pressuring me to christen the kids in their church. And I'm still not entirely sure why, but I had a big problem with that. 'Cause I was like, "But I'm not a Catholic, so no." And that's when I actually figured, well, maybe I ought to read this crap because I had never read the Bible cover to cover before. I'd never read the whole Book of Mormon. I didn't know really, anything other than what I was told. Any questions I'd ever asked, particularly on the Mormon side, I mean, they have a bunch of tricky answers just designed to get you to shut the hell up and, just follow the party line. And I finally read it all and realized that this is all totally at odds. I don't know how I ever believed any of it, but I managed to. I found room to believe it all, and then all of a sudden, it's like I fell off the edge of a roof or something, and just when I landed, I was an atheist.
It's not a surprise that you got fed only certain things, and that's a thing that I think a lot of people go through when they don't read the book. Is they're
Yeah,
accepting what's given to them, and the contradictory stuff is never the stuff that's given to them by the higher ups.
yeah,
And
and there aren't a lot of kids who actually read the book, you
right.
know?
They ask the
So,
questions, but they don't read it for themselves.
yeah, that was my whole thing. And then afterwards, I mean, because I still have a very, very religious family. Like, nobody on my dad's side has talked to me in 30 years other than my dad. Um, and my mom and her sisters and all my cousins and everything, they are still, born again holy rollers, every one of them. So I didn't want them, preaching to my kids like they did with my cousins and my nieces and nephews. And so I wrote a fake Bible for my kids when they were little. I based it on the first 3 Star Wars movies.
The
So,
wait, original
it
trilogy
was
or the prequels? That's very important.
the original trilogy, 'cause this was in the early '90s, so those were the only ones that were out.
Oh,
So, but it seemed like a really good story to, just kinda keep in their heads as a placeholder. So, like, if my mom decided to push her crap on, like, she'd buy them a children's Bible, and I'd be like, "No, here, read this. This is better." And, we'd show them the movies and it didn't take too long. It was only a few years before I was like, "Okay, you caught me. I totally made all that up."
I totally cribbed off of Star Wars. But you know what? I think Star Wars is a better story.
Oh, yeah.
Fewer contradictions.
Yeah. I wish I kept that because it was all in this spiral notebook with, like, pictures from the movies and stuff, and then I had the videos there, and I wish I'd kept it. I threw it out after I think, like, episode 1 came out, and that's when they introduced the whole thing of the midichlorians.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, crap, now I have to, like, get that in there." And then as I was doing it, and I'm like, "You know what? They're old enough." I'm like, "You guys, we're atheists. This isn't real. It's freaking Star Wars. Just, you know, deal with it." And I chucked the whole notebook out, but and I now I wish I woulda kept it
It would have been nice
'cause
to
that
have that.
that would be really cool to have.
Yeah.
So,
I one of my fun things is occasionally I'll make a Star Wars reference in the comments, but I'll attribute it the way we do when you tribute a saying out of the Bible and give a chapter and verse. Although I always
yeah.
reference it as I always reference it as the Journal of Wills, because that's what George Lucas called the story in his own
Yeah,
notebooks.
the original, yeah.
So I always
That's
refer to
cool.
it like I'll do I occasionally will say I got a bad feeling about this. Journal of Wills, episode 2, where, nobody's
It
caught
is.
that yet. Nobody's caught that in the chats yet.
Really? I found that the Journal of Wills thing, I had already named it, like Force Wave or something
Mm,
like that, you know, and by the time I learned that it was Journal of Wills, I was like, that would have been perfect to call the whole thing, you know, but it had already been a couple of years, so I was like,
yeah,
yeah,
that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut for the Star Wars nerds. So your deconstruction kind of just came out of reading the Bible. Prompted sounds like prompted by, in-laws wanting to take control of the religious education of your kids.
yeah, that was totally it. That was 100% it. Because when I went in the army, I didn't know. I'm like, am I Christian? Am I Mormon? Well, I was like Christian non-denominational. That's that's how I listed myself for my dog tags and stuff like that. But and then after that, it was like, yeah, absolutely nothing.
What was your mental health like prior to the deconstruction?
I thought it was okay. I mean, I had a tendency toward depression, pretty much my whole life, and I still do. Although it's taken a lot of years, or it took probably a good 10 years of screwing around with stuff to figure out that what I actually have is seasonal affective disorder. And I was taking, SSRIs for like the whole year when I really only need them for 3, maybe 4 months. And then once I got a handle on that, I was good. Um, it caused some problems as a teenager because they, just treated it like normal depression. And I was born in 72, so that was just pre ADD. They didn't know what that was when I was younger. So, I didn't find out that I probably had ADD when till I was 30, until they diagnosed my son with it. So just being from that generation kinda makes things a little, touch go and suck it the fuck up, life's tough, get a helmet type shit.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a bit. And it doesn't surprise me that ADHD went
Kind of the hallmark of Gen X, isn't it?
kind of, yeah. Well, the whole Gen X thing, like drinking from the water hose, being outside, feral kids just running wild, uh,
Mhm.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ADHD didn't really start getting diagnosed until late '80s, early '90s. But
Yeah.
it doesn't surprise me even that it went overlooked then. Most people go overlooked these days, especially when it comes to ADHD varieties that aren't hyperactive. Right? Hyperactive ADHD gets noticed almost instantly in schools.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kindergarten teachers are looking and saying, "Well, that one's bouncing off the walls. That might be ADHD." First grade teachers are,
That's what happened with my son. 4 years old, they already had him diagnosed, and I resisted, medicating him for, um well, as long as I could. I think we started medicating him when he was 7 because I couldn't take it anymore. Because the doctor said, "We don't like to medicate them till they're 10 because it will stunt their growth." I'm like, "Well, then, no." But then, yeah, it was too much for me after about 3 years, and I was just like, "Yeah, okay, let's do it."
Yeah, I think at that time, the go-to medications would have been stimulants, Ritalin, Adderall. I don't think Adderall
It was Adderall.
was
It was
Adderall?
Adderall.
Oh,
And then Concerta, yeah. But,
yeah.
yeah. So
Fortunately, today there are some non-stimulant options that don't have that effect on kids.
that's
Still, I think that it's still important to push off medicating kids for as long as possible, until they're
yeah,
actually in a school situation where they need the focus.
yeah.
So, first grade, second grade.
His doctor was like, "You need to medicate him as early as possible." And I'm like, "Well, that's you fucked up. You started by saying we don't like to medicate till they're 10.
Right.
So, I mean, this is a you problem.
Yeah.
You did this. You figure it out." And, so he did the talk therapy for a couple of years before I actually broke down and said, "Okay, fine, medicate him."
I think doing therapy and at least having medications when starting the school career it's a better path to success than when kids don't get diagnosed. That was me. Like
Yeah,
I didn't get diagnosed until I was 15, but I had it the entire time. Like ADHD it's a brain condition, so it's there from birth. It doesn't just appear one day and go away. Like it's a brain disorder, so it's there. I had it for 15 years, but I wasn't hyperactive. I wasn't bouncing off the walls. I wasn't a behavior issue, so the teachers didn't notice. I just
yeah.
did my own thing. And when I get into high school, I just stopped doing homework.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever hyperactive either, but the doctor said, "Since you're 30, I probably can't tell whether," he said, "You're an adult." So, usually with adults, we just say ADD. It's sort of an all-inclusive thing,
Mm,
and because a lot of times the hyperactivity kinda chills a little bit in kids that with ADHD.
mm.
It wane the hyperactive, component source tends to wane when you hit adulthood, so he's like, "Yeah, but," he goes, "But just, judging by your your evaluation," he said, "You definitely have it." I'm like, "Oh, cool." He's like,
There
"Are
is
you interested in any treatment?" And I'm like, "I've made it to 30. I'm fine. It'll be fine."
I have some clients who have come into me not knowing that they have ADHD, that they've had it their entire lives. They come in thinking it's
Mhm.
for depression or anxiety or something like that. Usually, the more I talk to them, I find that it's more ADHD related, and it's because of the negative self talk that comes up because of the ADHD. The depression stuff
Mhm.
hits them then. I mean, it's not the same as seasonal affective disorder because that's a lot of that is biological as well. Lower levels of blue light can definitely
Mhm.
impact our brain and over longer periods of time,
Yeah, that one was tricky for them to figure out.
especially because depression can come in waves for people. It's just
Mm,
sometimes it has to go off for long enough to be able to notice that there's this pattern where it's like every year at this time is when it usually kicks in and we're
mhm.
doing this. You gotta have sample size big
Yeah.
enough to notice that.
Yeah, it was also impacted by the fact that when I was in the military, I got hit by a truck, and I ended up fracturing my spine in 3 places, and then when I got out, I ended up having to have a couple of surgeries, so I've been on, pain medication for decades at this point, but even, from my late 20s, I've been on pain medication the whole time, and that can really screw you up too with the depression,
Absolutely.
and so, I mean, that was just another wrench to figure out exactly because chronic pain will, of course, add to that, and
Yeah.
I think I finally got a handle on it probably
Yeah.
about, 7 or 8 years ago, finally, so that's good.
That is good. What about, like, during the time period when you were kind of like sounds like your deconstruction was kind of quick, like, you read the Bible and then it was kind of like you said you
Oh,
up
yeah, it
and
was
then down.
super quick,
So,
like months, like less than a year.
uh,
It was
how was
super quick.
how did that deconstruction impact your mental health, or did it?
I don't know that it did, to be honest. I had a lot more crap going on right immediately after I deconstructed. I ended up getting sent to the Balkans to Bosnia, and by the time I came back, my then husband had himself a girlfriend and was leaving, and so I was about to become a single mother in the army. I mean, I had bigger things to worry about than whether or not I was still a Mormon or a born again Mormon, it's like I had more shit to worry about, so, honestly, that divorce probably did a bigger number on my mental health than anything up to that point in my life, because I was devastated.
Came out of nowhere.
To me, it did, and, I look back on it, hindsight 2020 and all, I probably should have seen it, but, you know, I was a kid, I was only 23, so
Not too many 23-year-olds expect that their spouse is going
yeah, I certainly didn't.
to be fair,
Yeah, I
a lot of people don't expect their partner to cheat on them if they've never experienced it, and then
yeah.
can get it really hard.
Yeah, my picker's completely broken. I did not pick that one gear very carefully, that's all. We also rushed into it because we were in the army, so, to get assignments in the same place and stuff, then you had to be married, otherwise you break up?
Rushing into it does not help.
But then my second one, I rushed into that too, like my second husband, we got married 9 months after the day we met, and this September will be our 25th anniversary.
You win some, you lose some.
Yeah, rushing didn't really affect that one for whatever reason.
You learned something from the first marriage. Apparently translated well enough in your picker.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned don't marry a guy who looks like Tom Brady. Don't marry a guy who acts like Tom Brady.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, that's probably the good-looking ones, they're probably trouble. I don't know that for sure, but it feels true.
You mentioned before that, like, after you deconstructed, like, family kind of they got hands off. Like you said, one side hasn't talked to you in 30 years. You don't have a lot of contact with the other side either. So,
Other than my dad, I haven't talked to anyone in his family in probably at least 20 years now. Yeah.
what kind of things do you do for support when it comes to um, who do you lean on?
Me? My husband?
Okay.
At times, even my own kids. And they're all adults. My kids are like 28 to 32. But even when they were younger, I had a bunch of, chronic pain issues and stuff that unfortunately I did need help for at certain times. And, close little unit was always there. And I mean, my mom still, I still am into, well, my mom lives with us and she has for years. She's helped too. She's not really much of a support figure, but she helps out where she can.
So, how did you get involved in the deconstruction community?
Just for fun, honestly. I mean, after I got out of the army and I worked for a time at the VA, and I started working in politics for the California and LA County Democratic parties, and then still, continued my work as a service officer for the VA. And I don't know, just the whole politics thing, and I got into the online politics really heavy, and then just I got in a really bad car accident in 21, and it ended up taking me, like, a couple of years to, like, relearn how to walk. So I spent a lot of time in bed on the computer, and there's only so many politics videos you can make, and there's only so many, politics commentary you can make. So I started watching debates, mostly political stuff, Parker and Dean and Santana and shit like that. And then and then I found a guy named Carbon. It's Carbon with a K. And I started watching him, and he would go from politics to religion to like culture war stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is much better. And then I realized, oh, I bet there's a whole bunch more atheist stuff. and and that was basically just my hobby at that point, and I got sucked into the chats and moderating, and yes, that's about it, really. I'm a creature of chat. to be sure. So,
The first time I really, interacted with you or became aware of you was in, DZ Debates chat, Justin's chat, right around
mhm.
I believe the first time I remember talking to you was about the schism that Justin still says doesn't exist.
Oh, this yeah, I started the whole schism just for fun. I mean,
There's a few weeks there where it was just the whole thing. Every live there was comments about schisms between the verts
yeah,
and the
he
whole.
like yeah, he actually liked it. You remember the time that Blitz came on and I threw him under the bus and blamed it on
I remember.
honestly, and everything I said was true. I did start the schism on Blitz's channels, you know? And then I just, like, exported it to DZ after that. But Blitz knew I was gonna do that because I asked him, asked him in advance if I could do that. He was like, "Sure, go ahead." Justin said he actually got a lot of subscribers out of that.
Good,
He said
good.
that the timing of it was really good. He goes, "I got a lot of new subs out of that." So, I'm like, "Perfect. Glad I
That's
could help."
it was a lot of
I was
fun.
just being a smartass, but glad I could help.
That's the way it happens sometimes. I just think it's a big part of this community is just being smartass. Part of the reason we're all in the community is because 'cause we're smartasses.
Oh, yeah. I've been a fan of yours for some time because I mean, especially like, have you heard the songs that I make for my channel?
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
on Async, you got some really good music there.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I write all the lyrics myself, and right now I'm working on a song about the myth, the man, the legend, DMF.
Oh, I remember.
And
I
yeah,
was there.
uh,
I was there
I know
for the DMF.
you were all over that, and I'm actually going through all the live chats, because I don't know why I never did before, but I'm even looking at the vertical chat, which I've never even bothered to look at, but I'm looking at the vertical chat, and I clipped a bunch of stuff out of that, and then and now I'm going back through the horizontal chat, and you're all some of the funniest ones are you, and it's just you and Whip of Destiny. You and Whip of Destiny, man, just had a party that day. I was
Oh,
like, "This is so great. This is fucking gold." I wanna take a bunch of the chats and some of, like, the real bangers and then slide them into the song, make them lyrics.
I remember having a lot of fun during that one just because it was so funny. He was crashing out so hard.
Oh,
It's still a great video. I don't remember most of what I said. I was just having so much fun with it because it was
it
hilarious.
it was a lot of fun. I've been rewatching it too and just seeing, like, because Sarah was, a guest with him that day, and she was talking to the guy that they were talking to while he was just in muted in the back, crashing out, and Sarah showed up when he was off screen, and she's like, "Oh," and everybody's like, "Bring back BMF, bring back BMF," and then finally when the Johnny guy disconnected, Sarah was like, all anybody wants is this BMF, bring BMF back." She's like, 90% of the chat just wants on TikTok and probably on YouTube, just that's all they want is BMF. And everybody in the chat's going, "Yeah, bring it back."
Bring him back. Oh, it was that I think one of the most epic
Oh,
crash outs.
you Whip of Destiny and McDubbin. Man, I am dying over some of these comments. Dying. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's a fun time in those chats some days. Some days super fun.
Some days are super fun and some days, you know what? It's all about the super chats. Some days the call sucks so bad that it's like I'll go do something else, and then as soon as I hear him start reading super chats, I'm like, "Okay, this I'm gonna pay attention to because this is gonna be the good part."
Yeah, well, sometimes the super chats give the questions that actually get good answers while the callers are just rambling about nonsense.
Yeah.
And then the super chats are funny sometimes too.
Oh, yeah. Mine, I don't think any of mine are serious, but
I've occasionally sent a serious question, usually not, but occasionally.
Yeah, I might have sent one or two, but usually it's some sort of snarky bullshit, you know?
And
I just
that's what super chats are for, right? Isn't that a rule?
see, that's
Super chat.
what I thought. That was my understanding, but, then people, like, sending these novels going, "In Timothy 23:12, what's the difference between the guy with the blue hat and the" it's like, "Oh, come the fuck on."
Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to figure out how to make a joke in 150 characters. Like,
I like to do the jokes in 50 characters or less. I will chew on it and figure out how I can get it in 50 characters if possible, because I have to get that 311 super chat in.
I
And
noticed
that's
311.
yeah, that's just a pathological thing because that's my favorite band. So
I want to thank you very much, Gretchen, for joining me today. It's been a wonderful conversation. Some people are really going to resonate with your story. I appreciate having you here. If you made it this far in the video, I thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. And if you're interested in joining me on the video, you can reach out to me at thebeardofempathy@gmail.com. I'll see you guys in the next one.
bye.